It's hot girl summer. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, sometimes you just gotta talk about the pure BS that happens in the beauty community every 2 to 3 business days, So I guess this video can be interpreted as kind of late to some of you guys. I did ask you guys if you wanted to see a video like this on my Twitter, and you guys said yes. This is a shit I'm not buying, trends I'm not trying type of video, but instead I'm going to be focusing solely on brands because a lot of brands in more recent news have been doing things that are not good. So we have to really analyze the situation and think about it and ask ourselves, are these brands that we really want to support? But a lot of this news is, I guess, considered old news because this stuff is things that happened like 2 months ago, 1 month ago. I still want to make a comprehensive video about the brands that have been doing shady things recently and give you guys some insight into that. So without further ado, let's get into some brands I'm not trying. So the first brand that I'm not trying is of course Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics. So let's get into this real quick. So maybe it's a good thing that I didn't do this right away so I don't have to explain the situation too much because I'm pretty sure that most of you guys know what's going on. I did discuss it on Twitter a couple of times, even in some corners of YouTube that are primarily obsessed with beauty related drama and news are talking about it because it became almost a health concern. Not almost, definitely a health concern. So Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics, started by Jaclyn Hill, a popular YouTuber, and her first product launch was lipsticks. A lot of people had a problem with the quality control. Several customers have reported seeing hair or hair-like substances embedded in the lipstick itself, crystallized beads or plastic-like beads being embedded in the lipsticks, a weird odor coming off of some of them, and fuzzy mold spores interpreted as being on top of the lipsticks itself as well. So it was, very concerning for a lot of people. At first, I, like many other Jaclyn Hill supporters, thought that it was just people just trying to tear Jaclyn down because we're used to this at this point. She's used to it. But then things started to get really hairy really quickly. So the concern then became that this was a health risk, that this was bigger than we had ever really predicted a product launch to become. It was scary. So the reason that I'm not trying the brand in the future is that there was really no cohesive response from Jaclyn Hill's team on the problems with these lipsticks. There was no definitive answer as to when these were mass produced, and even if it was rushed or it was on the shelves for months, we couldn't come up with an exact answer for why these spores were popping up, why these lipsticks smelled funny, why they seemed older than they actually were supposed to be. On the part of Jaclyn, she released one video right after the news started to pick up on it, kind of explaining herself, but once it became a larger than life issue, she kind of backtracked against it, and now she's in a position where her Twitter and her Instagram, all of those major platforms are now temporarily disabled. Her ex came out in support of her mother came out in support of her, other brand owners came out in support of her, and that's all well and good, but when you are being like dangerous and hazardous to the general population, especially your subscribers and people who look up to you and love you, that becomes a huge problem. And so I can't really support her or her brand anymore if they don't take the concerns of their public seriously enough to address it in one concrete letter or something like that, like a newsletter. It's just like I felt like her silence on the matter and her brand silence on the matter was really, really bad. Therefore, I can't really come up with an answer as to why I would buy anything else from her in the future if her brand isn't even on par with anything. And for her to take an anxiety and mental health relief, it's like you can take a couple of weeks off for your mental health, but what about all of the people who don't have health insurance who you have potentially poisoned, And it really didn't get that far, but it was really concerning that a lot of people feared for this and how a lot of biochemists actually tested positive for mold in some of their lipsticks that they'd had used or purchased. It just becomes such a bigger, larger than life issue, and until there is a really public statement and not just a refund or not just like a passive aggressive comment about application use and things like that, I can't support Jaclyn. And it's It's unfortunate because I love her and I've always supported her, but her as a brand owner I don't think is the right deal for her, and it upsets me that so much of it seems like it's a lie, and whether it was rushed or it was held on the shelves for years, it's just really upsetting that she could cause such a big health concern to her supporters. So even though I was excited to buy her lipsticks, obviously I'm not anymore, and I won't be buying anything else from her brand if she even continues to still do it. The second brand I'm not trying is Juvia's Place, and this kind of came out of left field because this is probably like lesser known drama, but their brand owner as well as like Jaclyn's whole situation is batshit crazy. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, the way that she talks to her customers and also how she has talked to influencers like Alyssa Ashley and Jackie Aina has been a real concern to watch, and it just seems very unhinged. Even though Juvia's Place is more of an indie brand and it is Black owned, and I don't want to speak on a racial issue or anything like that, it is really concerning when a brand owner doesn't take the steps to have Black influencers not only like support her own brand but to also talk down to them. It just seems like a very weird feminist thing that isn't meshing that well. Like, I don't know if she's insecure, if she's just trying to start drama so that she gets more attention towards her brand, if she really just cares about the dollar signs and nobody else and nothing else. I don't really know. I don't even remember her name, and I don't care to. I don't really care about the brand anymore. And this is a brand that I had known for a long time because Alyssa Ashley had talked about this brand on her channel really early in her career, and also Nikki Tutorials had a coupon code with them and she was always promoting their products. And for an indie brand, I really got a sense of like what brands are out there that aren't like the top dollar ones, that are small and you can really invest in and get some really good quality products out of. Their eyeshadows were really creamy and blendable, very vibrant, pigmented. They just were really inspiring too. The packaging was gorgeous. And then they came out with also a foundation line, and that's where all the drama started really, because they did post Jeffree Star in one of their pictures, and regardless of what you feel about him, the Black community certainly feels some type of way about a Black owned brand reposting a picture of a man that has screamed racial epithets at Black people before or about Black people before. That's where all this really came from. And even though influencers like Alyssa Ashley, like Jackie Aina took a step back and were just like, listen, we tried to warn you guys, but this is how it is, and kind of just wanted to move on from it, this brand owner of Juvia's Place kind of just brought it back out and really antagonized everybody, just told people off, and I just really didn't respect the way that the brand owner took care of such a big controversy like this. Kind of just moved forward and didn't really address it. Ever since then, they've kind of faded into the background and nobody really talks about them anymore, except how dramatic and ridiculous that the brand owner was being. And that really is the be-all end-all of a lot of brands out there, is like, if you're a brand owner or ambassador and you are not taking care to speak appropriately to the public, or don't take enough effort into learning how to respond to constructive criticism or just criticism in general, then you're not going to be successful, and people are going to see through that, and they're going to see that you're not a really genuine good person. And if you're not a good person, then odds are you're not treating your workers properly, you're not treating your clients properly, you might not take a lot of care into your product production as well. So that is a brand that I'm not trying because they really screwed themselves over with that one. But unfortunately, you know, they never had mold in any of their eyeshadows, but it's just the unfortunate reality that if a brand isn't going to be held to a high standard as far as like their workers and employees go, then I can't really support the products either. But I can't support that. It's just concerning to me, and it sends a very negative message to me. Another brand I'm not trying, I guess it's like a conjunction brand, KKW Beauty and Kylie's brand. Is it just Kylie Cosmetics or something? I don't even know her full title. And this is just more so of like personal feelings. I feel like Kylie is just out to get everybody's money. She seems like the person that doesn't even wear half of the makeup that she promotes, and she also doesn't seem like the type of person to really be active in the makeup creation process, and she's really just held up as an ambassador while a lot of other people control what's going on as far as her distribution and creation and packaging and everything like that. I don't really think that she has that much of a say in it. She's just really the influencer of the brand, and ironically enough, she's also the person who started and funded this brand, and she's made $1 billion off of it, so I can't really hate on that.
I mean, eat the rich, right? But like also,
you know, I can't hate on her being successful people, but she had this startup as a famous person in the first place, so it wasn't really that big of a come up. She is not 100% self-made. She was born into wealth. This is not the epitome of the American dream. This is just a rich person getting even more richer. It just makes me squirm when I see her promoting skincare and not showing herself actually using it properly. It's when those kinds of things are promoted as a brand owner, you're acting more like an influencer who's getting paid like $22K to post a 15-second Instagram video instead of actually like addressing your brand and being active in it and controlling all facets of it. I'm not into that, you know? And eventually she's going to liquidate this brand, she's going to sell it off, and she's going to have a big pocket out of it. Like, this is not something that I think that she is 100% invested in for the long haul. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Shark Tank lately, so like, you know, I just think I'm so educated and business savvy. To go off of like the KKW Beauty side, I think that it's a very similar thing to what Kylie's doing, where it's like, she is just the influencer of the brand. She's not really involved in it that much. She's got so much going on in her own life, you know, with her new Elle Woods scheme that she's got going on. I support her in that, but like, I just don't feel like she's dedicated to this brand. And I feel like even though she's creating some cool things, I just don't feel like she's as invested in that. I just think that she's using this as another cash cow because she knows that she can compete with her sister because she is the most popular Kardashian. So I just don't think that it's genuine, and I don't want to buy products from a brand that isn't genuine or isn't, you know, involved in the creation of their own stuff. And so if you don't see them as invested in their brand and the time and the management of everything, it kind of like, it fizzles away the dream and the aesthetic of it. And so, you know, if they don't really care about their products as much and they're just getting it from a cheap lab and overcharging us, I'm sorry, but I'm not creatively inspired. And even if your products are well liked by a lot of people, like a lot of influencers do give them good positive reviews, I'm not going to support that in the long run. So the last brand I'm not trying, which I'm really upset about, I think is going to be Haus Laboratories. You guys didn't know, this is the most recent thing I think that's been brought up. Lady Gaga has started her own makeup brand, and while we were talking about influencers being a part of the brand, I have to say, for the time being, I'm not going to try it yet. I was very excited about it, but then I saw some of the products that were being launched and I got a little bit concerned. It looks like private label makeup. It looks like very generic pedestrian type products, not like products that I think that Gaga herself would wear. And even though like I've loved Gaga all my childhood, I just don't know if I'm in the market for things that look so generic. Like if it's like, you know, when you take someone like Rihanna who's doing like so many crazy innovative things with her makeup line, I expect to hold Gaga to the same exact esteem. And even though she's calling it Haus Laboratories, so she kind of takes her name off of it, I just don't know if I necessarily believe that the brand is going to be eclectic and eccentric and crazy. Like, I think that when it comes to Gaga and the crazy makeup that she has done and does do, it's all about the artists themselves. So I get that everything's a little bit more pedestrian and it's just about the way that you apply it, but I think I expected a little bit more than just a gunmetal eyeshadow color, a lip liner, and a gloss. Like, I just expected a lot more, and so it's a little bit disheartening to see that someone who is so creative and has so much influence could create something so boring. So I'm gonna watch out for it. I'm not going to speak over myself. I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth because who knows what she could create in the next upcoming weeks. But for now, I'm not going to try it. I'm not going to pick up the first launch. I'm just going to wait it out and see how things go. I did this with Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics as well, and that worked out very well for me. So I'm just gonna wait and see what happens, and then maybe I'll invest in Haus Laboratories. But for now, okay, so I think that that is all of the stuff that I'm not trying as far as brands go. There's probably a lot more that I could have mentioned, but I don't really want to, you know, just create drama for drama's sake. If you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm really making up for the lack of videos in the past couple of weeks. My creativity just went down so badly, and hopefully I could bring that back up and get a little bit more consistency with my work. So let me know any video suggestions that you have down below in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.